Remabulous Coaching Friday video vlog. I'm Caroline Donahue, the owner of Remabulous Coaching. So last week we talked about making a plan and getting started with your project, and this week I wanted to talk a little bit about the planning process. So essentially the most important thing is that at the very beginning of the process you get everything out of your head and onto a piece of paper. And there's a couple of ways to do this. One is just to make a list of everything you can think of that you would need to accomplish for your project. Another way, which I really like, which some people call mind mapping, clustering, all kinds of terms for it, is to take a large sheet of paper, put a circle in the middle, and put the name of your project there. So to use the example from last week, how am I going to get to Seattle? The equivalent of getting your project done. Put that in the center and then have lines and circles off of it for every topic that comes up that has to do with the project. The reason I find these two methods useful is because many of us, I don't know if all of you learned the big Roman numeral 1 topic, and then an A, and then a 1 outlining technique in grade school. I remember learning this in 5th grade. We all had to learn how to do an outline. And I find that often outlining is intimidating when starting a project because you don't necessarily know the structure. So doing something like clustering or just making lists is more effective in terms of getting started. Later, if you want to make an outline or a more formal plan, then that's great. We'll talk about some of the timelining techniques next week. Because essentially the most important thing to remember is the best use of your brain is not to remember things. A teacher of mine, Eden Lepucky, a really amazing writing teacher, talks about when someone's reading your story, every time you give them a pertinent piece of detail or something that seems significant, they're putting it into their backpack. They're putting it into their reader's backpack. And essentially, whenever you're saying to yourself, okay, I need to remember that I have to get this done, you're putting that in your mental backpack. And by the end, wonder why you feel sluggish, can't remember things, or having trouble or feeling stressed. It's probably because there's too much stuff in your backpack. Far better to get all the material out onto a piece of paper so that you can look at it and feel separate. That increases your ability to think clearly and move forward and make good decisions. So in terms of organizing these processes, once you get them out of your head, a really good idea is to have some software or a notebook or a pad of paper where you keep track of everything. And the software that I recommend for those of you who use Macs is Things, and where you can find that is www.culturedcode.com/things. And the other one for people who want something that's web-based and have PCs or Macs is rememberthemilk.com. That's a web-based to-do system. So once you get all these things out of your head, you can put it into your system and start to step away from it, keep your head clear, and get your tasks done. So thank you so much for joining me this week, and I look forward to talking more about long-term planning next week. And until then, have a remabulous day.